welcome to the Sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Season 2 Invitational in Roanoke, part of the SCG Tour, brought to you by Ultimate Guard. Nick Miller alongside usual Jeskai aficionado, Harlan Fear.
Snap Bolt aficionado.
No white today.
Staying in my wheelhouse.
Now, when I think of Modern, I think of you, and as you said, Snapcaster Mage. Plethora of different decks, whether it's Jeskai, the Teamer, pile of cards that you played a classic top 8 not too long ago. But now you're kind of bringing back something that existed way back in the day when Twin was running around. A blue-red Kiki Moon deck, which takes the good parts of the Kiki Splinter Twin, esque effects, and the blue-red Blood Moon deck, and you've just jammed it all together.
Yeah, so I think Blue Moon, any shell of it is always pretty good. The issue is finding win cons, because if you play normal Blue Moon as a control deck, you have to play like main deck P and Kieran Nolars. Ben Nikolic played Docent before the giant form of Delver, and those cards kind of suck. So you need to have something to win. Having a combo win is ideal. I like the Breach deck, but I kind of hate Through the Breach as a card. I like having all my cards be functional throughout the game, and that's where Pestermite and Deceiver Exarch come in. Right.
Flashbacks of, long time ago, Modern. You've got Splinter Twin, not in the physical card, but you have Kiki, and you basically have this control deck that allows you to get to that combo.
Yeah.
Are there games what you're playing that are just kind of combo matchups or race matchups where you just have to get the combo as soon as possible? Is that a thing you can do?
Kind of. So most of the combo decks in Modern nowadays they're kind of more goldfish-y combo decks. So them having to play through your cards slows them down a lot, and they have to a lot of them have to respect a Pestermite anyway once they know you're playing it, because if you Through the Breach an Emrakul, doesn't do anything because I just tap it with Pestermite.
Right.
So they have to respect my cards, and they have to play through Remand. So I have like a kind of an edge as a control deck, even though I don't have hard counters, because they have to slow down because I can combo them, and Remand and stuff gives me time to find the combo.
Okay, we'll talk about the makeup of the deck now. You've got Super Visions, of course, but we have Opt here now as well, and that's a card that a lot of these reactionary decks are starting to play. And people wondered, is Opt good enough for Modern? We've had a few weeks, months now. It definitely looks right.
Yeah, I think Opt is good. I think it is still much worse than Serum Visions and all these decks. But this deck especially gets to use Opt really well because you want to leave up as much mana as possible, and you can use your mana end of turn really effectively. If you pass with an Opt in your graveyard and 3 mana up, you could have Pestermite, Deceiver Exarch, Snap Opt, or V-Click, and it's hard to play around that, or even Electrolyze.
Yeah.
It's really hard to play through those turns for somebody.
So your Counter Magic, Spell Snare, Remand, and then we have Cryptic Command as well, all juiced up by Snapcaster Mage being able to bring these back. Removal package of Lightning Bolt, Electrolyze. Then this one, coming back from a long time ago, standard Harvest Pyre, reminiscent of Jerry T playing, blue, white, red flash as they called it.
Yeah, Boros Reckoner, 20U. You have to have something that kills Death Shadow, Gurmag Angler, Tarmogoyf, and Dismember you can play, but it's rough on your life total in this deck. I like it a lot, and there's Teamer decks with Tarmogoyf of your own. You can be more aggressive.
Sure.
And Roast kind of sucks.
Doesn't kill Death Shadow nearly enough.
Yeah, and it's a sorcery in your all flash deck other than your Serum Visions and your Blood Moons, which win you the game on the spot. So, yeah, we end up with 1 Harvest Pyre.
That's what I was going to move to next. Blood Moon is kind of the key of keeping people honest in Modern.
Yeah.
You see it a lot. It just can win the game on the spot, as you mentioned. You seem to be pretty well equipped. I imagine Blood Moon's good against the things like Death Shadow and the Juns and the whatnots.
Yeah, they kind of try and get a threat into play as fast as possible so that they're ahead, and then you can just Blood Moon them, and then a lot of times I just bounce their threat and draw a card, even though it's gigantic and I can't kill it with Lightning Bolts. They just can't cast it again because there's a Blood Moon in play. And Blood Moon's really important, and one of the reasons I'm not playing Jeskai Queller is trying to beat the Jeskai Azcanta decks is really tough, trying to grind through Azcanta, and Blood Moon just shuts it off.
Right. So instead of running stuff like Field of Ruin and Ghost Quarters,
I would rather just
entirely
have something proactive. Okay. If I was playing Jeskai, I was going to play a couple Molten Marines in my sideboard this weekend.
And you mentioned the flash creatures already, but these just give you so much flexibility and just your win cons, just like your old Jeskai decks where you're just 2-1 beat downs.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I tried Pestermite with no Kiki Jikis in the teamer deck this week. So Pestermite's good enough in Modern anyway, even without Kiki Jiki.
So now you got the combo, you got the wins out of nowhere, so you don't have these, Celestial Colonnade beats or whatever.
Yep.
Another thing Blood Moon shuts down, which
Yep.
is very important, I would imagine.
Yeah. Colonnade, it's pretty hard for them to actually try and beat you down with a Colonnade because you can just Deceiver or Pestermite tap it, and that's not very good for them because they just tap out and you get an unharassed turn on your turn.
So what are we gunning for in the format with the shift to this deck compared to playing Jeskai?
Basically, the two worst matchups for Jeskai are Eldrazi and Dredge. This deck is great against both of them.
All right.
And a lot of people like to play those decks at the Invitationals. So I wanted to shift away from Jeskai, even though Jeskai is really good in the format right now, but with the Humans deck and such popping up, I really wanted to play something that was good against those two. And this deck has a great Humans matchup post-board, and Game 1's not that bad.
So what are you giving up switching to this versus Jeskai? Is there much?
Your burn matchup's a lot worse, and your black-green mid-range matchups are worse, but I think they're still good.
Right, so we'll move to the sideboard here, where you look to shore a lot of that up. You got 3 Dispels as your extra counter magic.
Yep.
2 Abrades, which I think has become kind of a hit in the older formats, even seeing play in Legacy that a lot of people didn't quite expect.
Yeah, it's good in Vintage even. It's a great card. If you think about it as how good Wear Tear is, because it's split of either Artifact or Enchantment, and then you can cast both, Abrade is just basically Wear and 3 damage to a creature as a split card, and that sounds great, right?
Yeah, you're going to play that every day.
I don't want to bring in Artifact hate against Humans, but I'm a reactive blue deck, so Vial is really bad for me, and now I have a card that deals with both.
You're just free rolling, getting the Vial.
Yeah, it's a removal spell for creatures, or I get to free roll a Vial. It's awesome.
I see more, I assume, hate for the Humans and stuff. Anger the Gods.
Yeah, Anger the Gods is fantastic against Dredge, good against voice decks, which are naturally good against this, and against Humans.
All right. And we got your artifact package here, 2 EEs, just a staple in all these control decks now. You have to have something that
Kill
can clean
Shadow and
things
Goyf
up.
pretty cleanly.
Then Vidalcan Shackle is a card that often gets overlooked, but is
Criminally
very good
underrated.
in these Blue Moon decks.
Criminally underrated. So good. It comes down and immediately takes over the game. A lot of people were like, well, it's so good against Kolaghan's Command, and Abrupt Decay are so good against it. My deck has 10 good hits for Abrupt Decay before the Shackles. Blood Moon, V-Click, all the combo creatures, they have to Abrupt Decay those on the spot, and then I'll play a Shackles on turn 5. Kolaghan's Command is already good against me. Kills all of those cards I already named, basically, other than Blood Moon, and I'm boarding in 3 Dispels against those decks.
Right.
Sign me up.
Yeah, they only have so many Abrupt Decays.
Yeah,
so
I'm spreading them thin as opposed to trying to dodge things, because I'm not going to be able to dodge it anyway.
Then you have your extra win cons here, 2 Pia and Kiran Nalaar, and then a Karanos. These are just your inevitable winners.
Yeah, in the Breach deck, I had a Harvest Pyre in my board because that card's pretty bad in a combo deck, like a hard combo deck. So moving it to the main in this more fair deck, I got to play a Karanos, which really helps the Jeskai Azcanta matchup. That one's pretty shaky for this deck too.
All right, well, we're still in the standard rounds. You're kind of gearing up for Modern here in a little bit. This is a very interesting deck, and I was very interested to hear what you say about strengths and weaknesses of the deck. You mentioned those already, but I got to know, what really made you pull the trigger on this?
I did not want to play a Jeskai this weekend because Jeskai search is everywhere, and Eldrazi and Dredge are going to be more popular because it's an invitational. So that was pretty much off the table for me. So I was messing around with the Breach deck a lot because a buddy of mine has been doing really well with it. And so I was messing around with that, and then Kevin told me that he was playing Twin. So I was like, I guess I'll try it. 5-0 to League. Sign me up. I played a lot of it in the past.
All right.
So,
well, you're 2-1 through Standard. Modern is on the horizon, and if you're going to want to top 8 this tournament, Modern is the end of day 2, so a strong deck is needed here. This looks great. Thanks for joining me here in the sideboard.
Happy to have you.
Stay tuned to StarCityGames.com all weekend long for the action here in Roanoke.